here is a New York City Skyline soft blank.
Yay, look at that, folks. Hi everyone, Gail from Woolswap. Welcome to Woolswap Chat, episode 5. And today I have the fantastic opportunity of chatting to Jessie from Yarn over New York. Now, if my memory... Hi Jessie, how are you?
I'm good.
It's good. So how I came across Jessie, if I can remember rightly, is I think you joined a Woolswap a few years back, and then I started buying yarn from you, and then you were a vendor where you very kindly offered discount for wool swappers, and then we just kept in contact, and we actually have I was very lucky we actually have met in person when I went to New York in 2018. So we had lunch and she took me to one of her favorite yarn stores, Knitty City, was it?
Knitty City.
Knitty City. And yeah, so it was great. So she's very kindly agreed to come on today. So Jessie, let's tell everyone a little bit about you and where you're coming from today, or tonight. It is where you are.
It is tonight. I believe you are talking to me from the future.
Yeah.
So hello, future. It's tomorrow where you are. It's yesterday where I am. Yeah. And so yes, hi. Thank you so much for having me. It is lovely to reconnect with you from afar. Yeah. And I think I was there like towards the beginning. I don't know if I did the first wool swap, but I did a few like right towards the beginning.
Yeah, you did. So 2016 I started it. So maybe it was the end of 2016, 17, maybe. Long time. I had to stop doing, I used to be really into swaps, and then I had to stop doing them because I started dyeing yarn, and I'm like, oh, I don't need more yarn coming into my house. Oh, no, I totally understand. No, all good.
Yeah. So yes, as I said, and as you said, I dye yarn. It is now my full-time job. I used to split time between dyeing yarn and stage managing for dance and circus and other live performance events. And I injured my back in, I think it was 2018. So I guess it must have been like you and I met in the summer, and then it was that fall, that autumn, that I injured my back pretty severely at my stage management job. And to phase that much active stage management out of my life, and luckily the yarn was here to support me, and now it is my one and only, especially because live performance is not the same thing that it used to be. So I am happy to be here and dyeing yarn and staying warm inside my apartment. And it's great because I get to do what I love every single day and make colorful things.
And isn't that fantastic? You're doing what you love.
It is pretty fantastic. It is literally like a lifetime dream come true. Maybe not the dyeing yarn part, but when I was a kid, I used to talk about how I would live in a craft mansion. And so I don't exactly live in a mansion, but very little space in this apartment that isn't dedicated to yarn or crafting of some sort.
And I'm eyeing up that blanket behind you. It's amazing.
I know. It's so good. There's definitely some wool swap yarn in there. Oh. It took me 5 years to make this.
I'm so you've got it all color. Look at that. It's great. You've got it all color coordinated as well. Amazing. Job well done.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, I started this in 2016. So January of 2016, and then I finished it. I think I finished it at the beginning of last year. And now that I have a guest room, I have a fold down couch bed thing, and it makes my IKEA look more upscale, right?
Yeah, it looks amazing. Job well done. I was like, I think I started that back in 2016, but then, I have a few other blankets on the go, but yeah.
Yeah. I definitely did it in spurts. And I went through a period during the pandemic where I needed something motivational and mindless. And this was that. It's like, pick the next color, go.
I know, but it looks good. It's good how you've color coordinated, because I'm a bit hopeless with doing that. I just, whatever's next, like I've got this bucket here, so whatever color comes out next, I don't.
Oh, fun.
I'm not. Okay, all right. So you may have just touched on that, but what inspired you to be an indie dyer? But you may have just touched on that.
I have a good story about how I became an indie dyer. So I've been crafty my whole life. Like I said, since a kid, wanted a craft mansion. And I crocheted. I learned how to knit. I started designing. I was doing all of those things. And I was in a yarn store in Vancouver, British Columbia, hanging out. And one of the workers there said, I got a yarn dyeing starter pack. Do you want to come to my house and dye yarn with me? And I said, okay, sure. And so I went to her house and I dyed 4 skeins of yarn that day. I've had Facebook remind me of the post that I made on that day. And I referred to it several times in the space of 3 sentences as the best day that I ever had in my entire life. And so then I got home, I ordered yarn and dye so that I could dye more yarn. It was just like a immediate, like, this is the thing that I love doing. And I love doing it.
And you haven't looked back, eh?
No, I love it. It surrounds me, and it surrounds me with joy.
Yeah. Oh, perfect. And how do you choose your colors that you come up with? Because you have some fantastic stuff. I have purchased yarn from you, which I do have something to show and tell.
Oh, yay! How do I choose colors?
Yeah.
So I generally like to go bright or saturated, and also like kind of, like box of crayons, like pure colors. Like some people are, like they take everything and then they're like, well, let me just mute it. I mute nothing.
Yeah. That's why I like your stuff.
Yeah.
I'm not a muted. I don't like any of the muted. Yeah.
Yeah. And so I would say one of the things that excites me most of all are contrasting colors. So if you have your color wheel, instead of picking the things that are next to each other on the color wheel, you pick the things that are opposite on the color wheel. And I really like pushing that and finding colors on opposite ends of the color wheel that make each other more exuberant. And someone once referred to my yarns as energetic. And I'm like, yes, that's what I'm doing. Like I'm taking the energy of the colors and putting them together. And I'm really into, like the yellow that looks green or the purple that looks pink. I like that kind of nuance.
Well, you definitely have your own kind of style. I haven't seen anyone else dye yarn like you do. So, well, I don't think you haven't, have you? No. I
mean, I like having my own voice. That's always been.
And then that probably answers why your yarns are unique, where you do that color wheel thing.
Yeah.
And do you where do you get your yarn from? Is it locally sourced? Like.
So I use mostly a company called Wool to Dye For, which in the UK is Chester Wool, and their yarns are mostly sourced out of South America.
Oh, yeah.
And so they've got Peruvian, and then I'm not sure where else, but they're all
that's okay.
South America based.
Yeah, cool. And I love also, sorry, I'm going off topic here, but I love also how you name all your colorways, and because you live in one of the best cities in the world, and so
now it's
you to. I think I didn't bring it out, but I did buy. One year you were doing those mystery sweater quantities of yarn, and I got one, and it was that kind of like a pinky with a white fleck, and it had not speckles. I always get that word mixed up. Like stellina, like the glitter thing in it. And I made a jumper out of it. Do you still do those? Those mystery?
I still do the. So the what I call them were gratitude bags, and they yes, I do still do them, but I do them in like they're not a continuous offering. Yeah. It's when I want to kind of thing. And so the last one, I haven't done them in a while. The last one I did was between Christmas and New Year's of 2020. So not the Christmas and New Year's that happened a month ago.
And the name of it was Broadway, or is that one of your names, or is that the name of the yarn?
Broadway is the name of my sparkle sock yarn.
Yeah.
All the yarn bases are named after neighborhoods or icons in New York. And then the colorway names a lot of them are still New York based, but then also like other random fun things. So Broadway is the sparkle sock and Times Square is sock. So, they kind of go together.
Oh, yeah, that's cool. So you are a knitter and a crocheter. I see with your hat, that's crocheted, right? Yeah, cool.
It is crocheted, yes. It's by Kelsey Weeks, the pattern. It's called Imani Beanie. And it is crocheted, and I love it. And the yarn is Painted Hearts, which is my Valentine colorway this year.
Oh yeah, that's cool. And so what are you working on now? Have you got any projects you want to show me? Like working
to show you. I can show you. One of the things I'm working on I can't show you because it's a secret.
Oh, yeah.
But I'll just tell you what I'm working on as it's in the other room. I'm working on, those like it's like a little sachet or whatever that you can put in the microwave and it'll get hot and then you put it on your body and it makes your body feel nice.
Like a heat pack.
It is a heat pack, yes. And so I am knitting the shell of what will be a heat pack for my neck because I bought one on the internet, and what I have determined is that it is made for somebody with a more robust neck than I have. So I was trying to figure out about how to remove some of the pellets to make it weigh less and then sew it back up. And then I was like, or I could knit the perfect thing and fill it with the pellets from this. So I have a thing that's too heavy to wear on my neck, and I am knitting the shell to be one that is not too heavy to wear on my neck.
And could you put rice in it? I think the ones we get here have rice in them.
So I could put rice in it. I'm going to put whatever is inside of this one that I can't use. It's very neck shaped. Like it's like a buckwheat or whatever neck pillow, and it weighs too much to be on my skinny little neck, my injured neck. So I'm gonna take the stuff out of that one and put them into the
recycle it. Perfect.
Yes, recycle.
So
mine will be prettier.
I just want to show you I just want to show you what I'm working on. Is you can see it. So
it's a sweater.
It's a V-neck sweater, and the pattern is the Daily Pullover, and it was written for Pearl Soho because I went to New York for my birthday, and I went to Pearl Soho, and I wanted to buy a sweater quantity of yarn. Anyway, I bought that linen quill. I don't know if you've heard of it. Yeah. So I finally have pulled it out after 4 years and started knitting. So yeah, that's what I'm working on.
It's beautiful.
And that's what made me think of you.
Yay. Pearl Soho sadly did not survive the pandemic.
They're shut? I think they've still got an online store.
They still have online stuff, but their brick and mortar is closed.
And what about Knitty City? Are they still around?
Knitty City is still around. The owner passed, unfortunately, which
Yeah,
that was like a huge loss to the community. Yeah, Pearl Chin, she passed in 2020. And
yeah, I did hear that. So sad.
you should go and look on their feed though. The tree that is like on the side, like across the sidewalk from them, they did a memorial for her, like a yarn bomb memorial, and they just did a video of putting it up. It's really sweet. Like I there was a little tear. So it's worth a visit.
Because you used to go there and show some of your yarn and stuff. Are they still doing that, or?
Yes, they've started doing it again. I did one in the summer out front. They put a little table on the sidewalk and I had my yarn out there. And then in November, I did one that was inside.
And are there many other yarn stores have closed over there, or that you know of? Or?
I think one other also recently closed, School Products. But all of the other ones seem to be weathering the storm, and we don't have the same level of restriction as we used to. So like you don't have to limit the number of people inside the store, but it was really tough because for a long time it was only 4 people at a time in some of those shops because they're so small.
Yeah.
So luckily we're able to do things safer
and I know over here in Australia, which I find I was excited, was most people took up knitting because there was nothing to do, right, if you were locked in. And so I was like Jaren every time I saw it on TV and go, I've been knitting for years, what have you people been doing?
It definitely it was one of those things. It was like bittersweet. Like I'm like, all right, I'm happy to be selling the yarn. I wish the world were different, but the world's not different, and I guess I'm happy to be selling the yarn.
Yeah, absolutely.
I would give it back if I could undo everything, but I can't.
No, unfortunately we can't. But it's all right. It's on to bigger and better things for everyone. Okay, so how did you learn to knit or crochet?
Well, I learned to crochet when I was 5. My mother gave me a little project bag that she made with, I think it was like 3 or 4 skeins of red heart or something similar and a crochet hook. And she gave them to me and I was like, oh, this is great. And she taught me how to chain, and I chained a lot. I could not really handle the turning around and actually going back and forth, but I chained. And I made pom-poms and I made God's eyes, which if that's not a thing that people know about, it's like when you take a popsicle stick, you make an X out of the popsicle stick, and then you wind the yarn around the 4 like this, and it makes a stripy diamond shape. What did they call them where you are?
No, never heard of them.
Okay, they're God's eyes. I don't know what culture they come from. It may be a thing that I should research. Yeah. But they're a thing that I did a bunch as a kid because I could use yarn. And then eventually I did learn how to really crochet. And I crocheted a whole bunch all through my young adulthood. And then when I was living in Macau and working for the circus, there was an Aussie who lived in my building, who was my friend. And we would get together after our shows. She worked at the Cirque du Soleil across the street from me. So when our respective shows would be done, we'd meet up on her balcony, and I would crochet and she would knit, and we would stare at each other's things and say, but I want to make that. and then we swapped. And so we taught each other how to do our respective crafts. So she now crochets and I now knit. And if only she had known the path that would follow now.
And do you still keep in contact with her?
I do still keep in contact with her. She, in fact, has come to New York, stayed in my apartment, and dyed yarn and painted sock blanks with me. So she's hip to the where it's gone. I just don't think she ever envisioned it.
Where is she now? Is she in Australia?
No. So I don't think she ever moved back to Australia after leaving Macau. She's in the in the French Alps.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, she's in Chamonix.
Ah, that would be nice. Okay, cool. So I learned to knit. My similar story to a lot of people is when I was 8, my grandmother and then my mum taught me, and I loved it. And I first started making those. I remember, don't know what they're called, but you get the old cotton reels that were wood back in my day, and my dad used to hammer nails on it, and you just do that, spin it around, and then it would come out the long thing. So that's kind of how the concept. And I was like, but I want to use needles like you are, Mum. And so she showed me, and never looked back. And I used to save up all my money and put the yarn on lay-by and go and get one ball when I could afford it. And so I made heaps of stuff. But my mum was an avid crocheter, and she tried to teach me, but I couldn't do it. And now
And you still do it?
No, I can't. I've tried, and sometimes when you've got a pattern and they ask you to do that provisional cast on, and a lot of people use the crochet. I don't know, can't do it. So I just.
Are you a picker or a thrower when you knit?
I'm a thrower.
Okay.
So so I'm not going to go there though.
Crochet is similar to picking. There's a little bit of a difference if you're used to throwing.
Yeah.
There's no way to do it.
I'm not even going to go there, because then I'd be on another path of too many things on the go. So no. So I'll just stick to
Is that a thing? Does that happen?
Yeah, it does. But I take my hat off to everyone like yourself who can knit and crochet. So well done.
I taught myself how to weave.
Oh yeah, I haven't done that.
I got a little loom and I weave.
Excellent. Oh my goodness.
So, I'm going to learn how to spin too. My friend Nancy is going to teach me how to spin. So
then you need to get a spinning wheel.
Well, I have purchased a drop spindle for her to teach me. She spins on the ones that have the cross at the bottom, the X at the bottom. I think they're called Turkish style spindles. So she spins on that. So I'm like, well, if you're going to teach me, I'll get one of those. So I for my Christmas treat, I got myself a spindle and a couple of bags of fluff. And we were supposed to hang out last week, but she was not feeling well. So hopefully soon we'll hang out and she'll teach me how to spin.
Oh, cool. Excellent. And what do you do in your downtime?
I knit. No. So in my downtime, I do leave my apartment. I do. Not in the last week or so, because it's been really cold. But I used to work in theater all the time. I used to be a full-time stage manager, and now I am returning to the theater as an audience member. And I have a friend of mine who lives somewhat nearby, and we take advantage of the fact that tickets are pretty cheap to a lot of shows here in New York, because they're having trouble selling tickets. So we go and we enjoy the bargain entertainment.
Oh, that's fantastic. And you know what? The whole time Dean and I were in New York, we didn't go to a show. I know. But I'll have you know, the time before, in 2004, when I went by myself on a Kentucky trip, they told us on the tour, and you'll probably be able to know where it is, but we had to buy super cheap tickets, not line up at Times Square there, but they told us to go on a train, and we went on this train for ages and ages, and out to kind of like the seaside, I don't know, and there was this little tiny box window, and you could buy them for like half price or less. And so we went out, and what did I see? The Producers.
Oh, fun!
How long ago it was. So it was good. So and we actually, when we were leaving, we actually got to meet some of the actors, because we were just standing when we came out and didn't know where to go. And then typical tourists, in New York. And these people came out the side door, and then all these people came up, started taking photos of them, and we're like, oh, who are you? And So they chatted to us because when we speak, right, our accent's a bit different. So
Yeah.
but I couldn't tell you who they were. But yeah, that was a highlight. That's pretty cool.
Okay.
Now I just wanted to do you still do your sock blanks?
I do the sock blanks. I don't do them as often as I used to because with the back injury, came some long-lasting deficit on my left side. So I really don't do them as often as I used to, but I do still do them. I now have an area set up in what used to be my living room where I do them.
Oh, yeah, cool. So I just wanted to share with everyone that because I knew I was going to New York, I purchased a New York Skyline sock blank, and I will try and find the photo of it and put it in the video because I wanted to knit some socks. So it turned up and it was beautiful. And then I madly knitted through the socks so I could wear them when I got to New York. And they are a little bit faded, but here they are. Dun, 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 dun. So just plain vanilla I did, but you can see. And then I just quickly was looking before I came on and I found the leftover bit.
Nice.
If anyone has not heard of Jessie and her sock blanks before, please go check her site out. I will put a link to your website down below for everyone to go check it out because they are amazing. And I've got another quick funny story to tell you about your sock blanks is through Woolswap, I've met another lovely lady from Pittsburgh and she goes to a shop and you put
her yarns.
Yes, and I joined their knit group, their Zoom thing, and quite often when Amy is in there, the owner of the shop, and she's filming, on the Zoom, she's got one of your sock blanks of Pittsburgh up on the wall, and I was like, "Where'd you get that? I know that person." And they're like, "What?" I'm like, so yeah, small world. How cool is that?
So one of her employees bought that for her. So the shop itself commissioned like a repeatable design. So I want to say that I did like 30 or 40 or something for them, like a lot. But in the best way, a lot. A bunch of Pittsburgh ones for her to sell. And then while I was in the process of doing all of that, one of her employees like sneaky contacted me on the side and was like, you make one that's special for the shop to keep as like a display item. Yeah. So I did one that looked very different than the ones that she was selling. And I think it has the shop name on it. So I did that for the employee, and then it was like a secret little surprise for the owner.
Yeah, it's cool because I was like, oh my goodness, I know that sock blank. Like, so yeah.
Yeah, there's quite a few, not quite a few. There's a few shops that have had me do like logo ones for them or their city. So yeah, they're
and
depending on where you are in the world, you might see one.
What are your favorite ones to do? The Skyline?
So since I got up anyway, this is what will be my neck cozy.
Oh yeah. Oh, that's cool. So are you doing it out of wool or cotton or?
I'm doing it out of 100% merino non-superwash. And I checked.
What will happen when you put it in the microwave?
I read on the internet about this specifically for this purpose, and some people make them out of felt. So there's.
Oh yeah, so that's okay.
I mean, I'm not going to like put it in there for 20 minutes, but like I figure I put it in for 30 seconds. It doesn't catch on fire.
If you put a glass of water, if you put like half a glass of water in there when you do it as well, I think that helps.
Yeah. I think it'll be fine.
Yeah. I mean, that's great.
Yeah. Like I said, I'm not going to like put it on for a half hour and walk away. I'm going to do 30 seconds. If it smells all right, it'll be fine.
If it smells all right, that's it. It's ready to go. It's ready to eat.
I've made them in the past using cotton. I do have one that is filled with feed corn, like corn for horses.
Yep.
That I made. I crocheted it with like the dishcloth cotton 20 years ago. And I still have it and I still use it. Sometimes if I put that one in for too long, it smells a little not so great. So I try to not put it in for too long.
But you'll find the wool will be nicer on your skin. Be nicer.
I do think the wool will be nicer, and I don't have any cotton in my stash.
And
so
it'll probably keep it warmer as well.
Yeah, and I'm doing it like it's color work, but I'm ripping my needle out. But it should, like, I don't think anything's gonna come out of that. I think it's gonna be pretty.
Oh, that's a good idea. Yeah. Yeah.
And I'll pick up those stitches I dropped later. Okay, here is a New York City Skyline sock blank.
Yay, look at that, folks.
Yeah, so this is my demo / my one that I will never rip out that I did for me.
Yep.
And I'm showing you down here at the end, this part, that is not standard. That's a building that's up by me. So most of them don't get this building. But I did
okay.
That. So most of them have the...
Is it a church, the one near you?
It looks like a church, but it's not. It's actually City College, which is the City College, part of City College of New York, or City University of New York.
Yeah, wow.
School. A lot of the late great Bell Hooks used to teach there. Bell Hooks, who is a very famous feminist writer.
Oh yeah.
Who passed last year. I think last year. It's so confusing when it's right around the year change. Passed recently. And you can see the photo that I sent you. So I sent you the photo last night with me in the crocheted hat up on the roof. This building you can see in that photo.
Oh yeah, cool.
So that photo was taken on the roof of my apartment here. And that building is, if there weren't, like a dozen buildings between us, you would be able to see it.
Yeah, cool. I think now that you mention it, I think I have seen some of your photos where you do take some of your photography up there of your finished items, and it does look familiar.
Yeah. So,
because I've always gone, oh, that's a really interesting building.
I know, that's why I put it in the photos.
Great.
And it's famous enough that people will recognize it. So like people will say, oh, that's City College. And I'll say, yes, it is City College.
And Jessie, do you just want to pull up your, is that what the sock blank turns out like? That one? There you go. And do you just want to explain to people how the sock blank works? Because a lot of people...
I very much do. So, see, now you're seeing the real reason that this one became mine. It had a hole in it, so I can't sell it. So it's mine, which I knew before I painted it. I saw that it had a hole, and I said, oh, I'll paint this one for me. So it is, before I paint it, it looks like a scarf. And I buy it in this shape.
Oh, yeah.
And then I lay it out on a table, and I paint it with the same dye that I dye yarn with. Mixed with sodium alginate, which is like similar to gelatin, but made from seaweed. So I thicken the dye to the consistency of acrylic paint, and I use those same types of paintbrushes. And I paint directly on the yarn, and then I roll it up in plastic wrap, and I steam set it, which uses the heat and the acid to set the dye, and then the steam breaks down the sodium alginate so that that the yarn isn't crusty. If I were to set it, like some people want to say, oh, put it in the microwave. No, if you do that, it'll be crusty.
Oh, yeah.
So then when you rip it out, it kind of makes like a secret code. So this is a sock that I made using a different New York City Skyline sock blank. So you can kind of see how the buildings translate into each other, and you get like a little secret code thing. I do have some other samples that are fun. So this is half of a sock blank. The other half is a pair of socks. So you can see how the striping remains intact, but the images get scrambled like secret code.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. And do you and you knit? When I got mine, I just knit straight from it. You don't wind yours up first, or people can if they want, but I knit straight from them.
I always go straight from it. Yeah.
Because it's kind of cool because you can still see the picture and then you're seeing your finished item in the sock and going, oh, what's it going to be like next? So it definitely helps you finish your socks.
And if you have tiny feet, you end up with a display item left over.
Yeah, that's great. Oh, I love it. I might have to go onto your website myself and stalk. Oh, but you guys don't ship to Australia at the moment, so
yeah. Oh, yeah. So that's a way above my pay grade problem.
Ah, no, it's crazy. But when you do, I'm gonna stalk your sock blanks. I love them.
Yeah. As soon as that becomes a thing that I can do, I will gladly do it. But that is, yeah, there's some dyers have like, number one, like you can't even buy postage now. Like if you made an order and I went, oh, let me try to buy postage, the answer would be no. I would just have to refund your money. Like I can't buy postage to Australia.
Yeah,
right?
And it's kind of made my Woolswap a bit more interesting because I have to not swap people from Australia or New Zealand because I think they're the two around here that they don't send to. So I just have to not swap Australian and New Zealanders with Americans.
Right. Can you send between Australia and New Zealand? Is it?
Yeah.
That okay? So that you can.
It's only you guys. It's only you guys.
Yes. All right. Well,
and I can ship to you. No troubles. But yeah. But anyway, it won't be forever. Just while
they will restore this ability to us, and when they do, I will be here for you.
Oh, excellent, cool. So, all right. Well, did you want to mention anything else, or?
Well, I brought some samples.
Oh yes.
I brought.
Oh yeah, I was going to say, have you got any new stuff that you want to promote? Any new stuff you want to promote?
Yes. So I just did a re-release of these two patterns. So for holidays, at the end of the year holidays, I do what's called Holiday Adventures, which started out as like yarn dyers were doing yarn versions of Christmas advent calendars. So you have a little parcel each day.
I love the advent calendars.
Aren't they fun?
I bought 4 last year.
4?
I know, crazy.
So fun. So I do those, but I do 4 different holidays. So I do Halloween, and that one kind of is obviously by itself in the month of October.
Yep.
And then I do the 3 December-ish holidays. So I do Hanukkah, Christmas, and New Year's, like the countdown to whatever the next year is. And then with those 3 holidays all being so on top of each other, and also with usually people are only getting one of them. You know, if you're getting a Hanukkah box, you're probably not getting a Christmas box. So I share the pattern between all 3.
Yep.
And so I did one for the end of year holiday last year, and I was not happy with the design was fine. The actual writing of it was not as clear as I would have liked. And so I did it because I had to at the time, but it was always one of those, I'm like, oh, as soon as I have a minute to look at this, I need to really streamline how I wrote it. So I've done that now. And I re-released the patterns this last weekend. It's called Winter Poetry. And I say, poems have lines, and so does this shawl.
That's amazing. I'll put the link down. Have you got it on Ravelry or on your site, or?
It's on my site. I will put it on Ravelry.
Right. I'll put a link to it.
Thank you. So it has a crocheted version as well. So there's both of them have lines, and then it's kite shaped.
So how
one like this.
Oh yeah, cool.
So
I don't think
it rolls up nicely around the neck, and I think it's a good shape for either over as an accessory or to go under your coat to give you that winter layer that you need.
And
here in New York City.
what size needles, and what is it, fingering weight, or is it DK, or what is it?
So currently it's DK for 3 colors. The knit version is brioche.
Oh, I haven't mastered that yet.
You can totally do it. And then this is the crochet version. So both are DK, both are written for 3 colors.
Yeah.
I am also going to be doing a fingering weight version.
Oh, yeah.
And I think I want to do that for 5 colors. But it'll be the same shape, same stitch pattern, but different counts. And I honestly, I don't remember the exact needle size, but it's on the pattern page. Like, you know this information before you buy it.
Yeah, cool. I will find the link to it on your site and put it in the show notes below, everybody. So I encourage you to go check out Jessie's fabulous website with all her yarn and her designing patterns. Yeah. You're multi-talented. Love it.
Thank you. It's called Winter Poetry. And the website, just to say, is yarnovernewyork.com.
Yarn.
All spelled.
Yep. I'll put the link down below. Okay, well, I just want a big thank you for Jessie for taking the time to come on Woolswap Chat. And it's been amazing catching up with her again. And hopefully we can do it again more often. And like I said, I encourage you to go and visit her website and check out all her knitting patterns and crochet patterns and lovely yarn. And yeah, thanks for watching, everyone. See you next time.